He said in this interview that I always think of myself as a Christian who hates Christianity. Not in it makes you
silently increasing the amount of deportation daily by over 1,000. And
this is why people are leaving California and Washington and Oregon. What? Why stay in these states? Nothing's wrong with this map whatsoever. Like, what is this? And then, Utah's Oklahoma.
It is the judicial system in this country right now. It is people who became a citizen less than a decade ago with Star Wars names coming over and saying, you are not allowed to have a country. This
Holy
is my nation.
Biden had 235 appointments. Gee. So yeah, that's kind of the big headline today. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has officially resigned. We were hearing over the weekend he was going to do this, but now it is official. He had a speech earlier today, and wasn't he crying or something about it? Right?
Well, yeah, I feel bad for the guy. He was like Labour boy. They all loved him. His popularity dipped, and all these people just immediately like threw him out. Like I feel bad for him actually. You know, like the second his popularity dipped, the party just like trays him. Yeah, I'd be pissed too if that happened to me. I'm not gonna sit here and look. I say he sucked up politics. That's an understatement. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, how dare he be upset with his party? It's like, no, I understand why he's upset.
No, I understand, but it's kind of funny to think about that. This guy got forced out by his own party, which is just. Listen, I am thankful America does not have this type of system. Can you imagine having a system like this in America, where out of nowhere some guy can win a special election and they become like the president or something? It is insane. Or the Speaker of the House. Like,
yeah, bro.
It is utter insanity that they deal with this, but that's the UK. They're up to what? How many speakers now in the last 5 years? Like 4 or 5?
You mean Prime Minister?
Prime Minister, excuse me.
Since the past 10 years, they have had David Cameron, Theresa May, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss for like a week, Rishi Sunak, Keir Starmer, and now Andy Burnham. That's 7 prime ministers in 10 years.
You know
what? Had 3 presidents.
And by the way,
Trump and Biden.
Yeah. And by the way, with the whole like prime minister stuff, usually when a country has that much change in leadership over the course of just a couple of years, that's not a good sign. That's usually a indicator of what's going to happen. So it's very unstable what's going on in the UK right now.
I think it will be a minority government either way. And we also have the Restore Britain factor. Are they going to run candidates? Are they all going to run candidates in the swing seats that'll take 4% of the vote and give Burnham the election? We'll see. I don't think they're going to have the money for that, but Elon Musk might get him the money because he's stupid and he literally endorsed parties based off like Twitter DMs and shit. It's stupid. I don't know why the richest man in the world is that dumb. But I don't think Restore is going to have the capacity to run candidates. They'll run Rupert again in Great Yarmouth. He'll win because he's like a local folk hero there. Because he's like a local businessman who just basically pays people to vote for him over there. Like he just bribes them like, hey, I'll build you guys like a stadium if you vote for me. That's a true story, by the way. That's kind of how he won as a reform candidate back in 2024, actually. So I think it's going to be very close. I think it'll be a minority government either way. So if Labour wins, it'll be a Labour minority propped up by the Lib Dems. If Reform wins, it'll be a minority government propped up by the Conservatives. England is very quickly becoming a multi-party system. If you take a look, it used to be solid 2 parties, and it was kind of 3 parties for a bit. Now it's going to just...
California lawmakers approved major tax changes tied to the next state budget, including a sales tax expansion for digital pre-written software and software as a service products. The software tax would start at California's 7.2% statewide rate, with higher local rates in many areas, and is expected to apply to tools like Microsoft Office and yeah, you said that already.
By the way,
Jesus.
this is why tech companies are leaving California.
Yeah. Why stay? A 7%. So wait a minute. If you
be charged if for every dollar you pay for. So let's say you use Spotify, right?
Yeah.
Spotify is $10 a month, right? You would have to pay an additional 70 cents to use Spotify. That doesn't sound like. I mean, that's still kind of bad.
That's bad.
But you need to keep in mind. Well, you need to keep in mind when it comes to large corporate entities who are paying, for example, for the entire Adobe software suite.
Thousands.
That is like, yeah, you're talking about literally 10,000 for a group of like 150. Congratulations, you're now paying an additional $1,000 on top of that. You're paying an additional $725 on top of a $10,000 purchase.
Wait, what the fuck are they thinking? So, okay, does it apply to software in state or what?
All software, it seems.
Also,
so this is why people are leaving California and Washington and Oregon. What? Why stay in these states? What's the incentive? Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, where's the money going? Anyone know?
they have abortion exit.
Yeah, sure.
It's going directly into NGOs and other things that pay for illegal immigrants.
Great. Hold on.
You're gonna have to pay an additional $1 for every monthly Spotify purchase you make.
Right here, a separate health
to pay for immigrants.
What the hell? A separate health plan tax change could raise private insurance premiums by about $100 a year for individuals and $400 for a family of 4 if costs are passed through. Supporters say the money is needed to stabilize state finances and Medi-Cal funding, while business groups warn the software tax could stack through multiple layers of the economy and raise consumer prices. Yeah, no shit. We're not talking about a tiny surcharge of like 5 cents. This is 7% for every single software. Does this include like Steam? I would have to imagine. Oh my god.
Software as a service is included under this.
Jesus.
You will probably be paying an additional 7% when on a Steam purchase.
And reminder, they're saying this is a starting point. Local like counties and stuff can implement. Oh my god. So like LA or San Francisco could say it's 10%. My god. Just get out of these states. If you live in California, leave. I'm sorry, there's no hope. I'm sorry. What can you say or do? This is insane.
With making all this fucking bullshit, the media blitz, Markwayne Mullen is doing what Trump wants him to do. He's actually doing what Trump and Miller wanted a fucking DHS secretary to do. Actually, I'd go as far as to say he actually trusts Markwayne Mullen, because Markwayne Mullen is capable of keeping his mouth shut and actually doing his job. Unlike Christito, who just wants to be a media figure. Markwayne Mullen, he's focusing on shit that he gives a fuck about personally, but he's also doing the things that are objectively good for us, like silently increasing the amount of deportations done daily by over 1,000. And this is a good thing because, again, I will remind you guys what I do. I'm not ICE. I'm not explicitly ICE, but I know the guys there. I work with the government. This approach is better. There's less protests nationwide. I don't know if you guys have been following the news. There's basically no protests. There haven't been any violent attempts on anybody's life. None of that fucking shit. There haven't been any immigrants or officers hurt ever since Markwayne Mullen has become secretary.
Yeah, listen, I was skeptical at first, but man, he does his job. That's all I give a shit about. If you do your job as the DHS secretary, I don't care. I don't give a shit. Like, you're deporting people, you keep your mouth shut, the messaging's been pretty good. Which, again, I get what Noam was trying to do. They were trying to increase voluntary departures. I get that, but it failed. You still got to do actual deportations. And we weren't getting that.
The amount of voluntary deportations done under Markwayne Mullin is actually higher than those done under Christine Nolan. People aren't fucking scared to go do it anymore because it's not a fucking thing in the news.
I want to talk about Colombia because there was a pretty big election that occurred in Colombia yesterday, and isn't it very strange that U.S. aid magically disappears and out of nowhere, all of these countries in Latin and South America, they magically elect conservatives or right-wing figures. Is that strange? So yeah, U.S. aid had a pretty big election, or not U.S. aid, good lord, but Colombia.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, USA did have a big election in 24.
That's true, yeah. So yeah, Colombia, they had a big election and the right winner won. They're trying to play games. The president's saying Israel stole. Actually, I'm gonna pull the tweet up. I'm gonna fucking pull it up. You just can't make this shit up. Does this remind you of certain sloppiness in America?
I wonder if the voters will realize that.
Well, and I've been looking more into this, and I might have a video on this later, but guys, the average attention span for voters is at most like 2 to 3 months. Like
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, but it's like, I know, it's like 2 to 3 weeks, but like, best case scenario for like the most extreme stuff, it's like 3 months at the absolute most. For the average
guys,
thing,
I don't want
the
you
gas
guys
prices,
to understand. It's late June.
Yeah.
The Iran war will not be... The Iran war will be a forgotten memory by early August at the latest.
People are already forgetting about it. People forgot
I've
yesterday.
already forgotten about it. And I pay attention to politics.
But no, guys, don't you know the average voter in South Carolina is going to think about the Iran war? That's why they vote.
The average voter cares about the Jeffrey Epstein files. It's actually their top priority. That's why Donald Trump's popularity is it's plummeted.
No,
it's because of the Jeffrey Epstein files. You gotta understand.
Yeah, but the Epstein files are saving Trump now. People are paying attention more. It's fucking bullshit.
Like,
prediction for birthright citizenship ruling. The fact they have not decided it yet is actually kind of good.
Yeah, if they were gonna overturn it, they were gonna come. But like, I've watched the hearing.
Yeah, I know.
Really, it was very. I don't be surprised if it's 6-3 in favor of birthright citizenship.
I still am holding the belief they're gonna just kick it to Congress and say, "Fuck you, you deal with it."
Well, yeah, I think that's what they will do. I think they will strike down. Excuse me. They will strike down the executive order to say the president does not have unilateral authority to decide who is and is not born a U.S. citizen. But they will allow Congress to make that decision and decide who is, quote, under the jurisdiction thereof. Or subject to the jurisdiction thereof.
Which again, nobody talks about that part. I wonder why. They never mention that
everyone
part.
Just says, everyone ignores that part. And it's the reason that even after the original birthright citizenship case, Kim Wong-ark?
Yeah, it was Kim or something.
Yeah, Kim Wong-ark, which basically said that the children of legal citizens are given birthright citizenship. Or, I'm sorry, legal immigrants are given birthright citizenship.
I'm pretty sure permanent residents, they said.
Permanent residents, legal citizens, something like that. Native Americans still did not get birthright citizenship until the 1920s, and that was through legislation, because they were not considered subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And to this day, the children of diplomats are not subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Which means...
I wonder why.
I wonder fucking why. Yeah, and also, apparently, those committing war against the United States do not get birthright citizenship if they give birth to a citizen on U.S. soil, or to a person on U.S. soil, which, you know, makes some sense. I mean, if you really think about it, you probably don't want people waging war against the United States giving birth to U.S. citizens on your soil.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
Conflict.
But
no, if you try to say that illegal aliens who come over here for the express purpose of stealing your jobs and taking your wages and taking your benefits,
and they have a kid,
generally fucking up your country. If they have a kid, how dare you question their ability? How dare you question their right to birthright citizenship? Talarico said that he hates Christianity.
Yeah, let me pull this up.
Live on video.
So, okay, I have a question for you, Ye. What % Texas is Catholic and evangelical? Again?
It's over 70% Christian.
Yeah, let me just pull up what he said. This is real. They at first were trying to say this is AI, or they try to splice it up, but no, he actually said this. So let me pull up the audio clip right here. So this is a real interview. I don't know from where exactly, but I think it's from like 2 years ago or something. Anyways, he said in this interview that I always think of myself as a Christian who hates Christianity. Not in
really makes you think.
Listen, if he would have said he hates like a certain thing about Christianity, like I don't know, like scam artists, like pastors or whatever, he could have said that. But no, he just straight up said, "No, I hate Christianity." In a 70% Christian state. And by the way, these Christian groups in Texas, yay, aren't they pretty big Christians? Not like the northeastern types, right?
What percent? I'd have to look up like what percent of Texas consider themselves very religious.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna say it's near 50%.
Yeah, just very religious. This is not like New England where all of these people are Catholic but they never go to church. No, we're talking about diehard Christian types. They're huge Christians. They go to church every week. Like, you don't piss these voters off. And this dumbass is going around saying, I hate Christianity. Because,
42% of Texans attend church at least once a week.
Jesus. So, let's see what's in here. So, Congress just passed the largest housing affordability bill in a generation. There's an 80% chance this bill sucks because it seems like every time Congress passes stuff related to housing, it fails. Am I wrong for saying that? Like, it seems like it makes things worse every time, but let's see. The bill aims to tackle housing affordability crisis primarily through encouraging more supply, including in manufactured homes, which is a good thing. I think that's objectively great. And through encouraging local governments to reform zoning and permitting restrictions. The bill also includes a first-of-kind limit on private equity by prohibiting large investors from buying single-family homes. Okay, yeah, that's right. That's the big one. That is kind of the big deal with this, the single-family homes limit. I have a hot take about this. I think it's good. It's an executive order Trump did sign to ban large companies from doing this. Here's the problem I have. It doesn't really address the core problem because, yes, there are big companies that buy all these houses up and they jack up the prices. I get that. It doesn't really solve the core problem where it's not really the private companies doing this. It's causing this. So, I don't know. A rare bipartisan effort, the bill reflects a growing recognition in Congress that the high cost of living is squeezing Americans, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, Trump said he plans to sign the bill into law. Okay, he's going to sign it. So yeah, basically, if I'm understanding this correctly, they're pushing manufactured housing, which I actually was calling for a while now. I think it's a good way to solve a lot of problems. Manufactured housing's gotten a lot better in the last 10 to 15 years. So I'm glad they're doing this. I think it's going to solve a lot of problems. And apparently it's going to reduce prices by $5,000 to $10,000 for new houses, which is good.
Oh, who real people remember that era of YouTube. Between that and Musk buying and purchasing Twitter, now known as X, the everything, there was literally no place to go where you could just fucking talk about literally anything. You could talk about anything edgy or dissident. It was all highly sanitized. There's a lot of people who just fundamentally do not understand how bad shit was under Biden, how bad it got under Trump, under the second half of Trump's first term, with the political witch hunts. And I've noticed people who tried to get into politics after that stuff, the people who have tried to get into like, they don't get it. They have very, very stunted imaginations. They just don't get how bad it got. They don't understand how censored it was. They don't understand the type of shit we could just fucking talk about. They can't process just how free we actually were to just talk about, like we could talk about the doctrine of fascism pre-Charlottesville Discord. We could fucking talk about the Communist Manifesto. You could get copies of the Anarchist's Cookbook. You could get copies of Mein Kampf. I'm not endorsing any of this, obviously, but what I am saying is that you could get access to a lot more easily, readily. You can more easily and readily get access to these sorts of things that really force you to fucking think. And under Biden and the fucking neolib right, all of those actually thought-provoking things, no, they were banned. They were banned literally. I mean, I think you understand what I'm trying to say, basically. It was an entirely different era with an entirely different set of standards and norms and what you were allowed and weren't allowed to think and be exposed to. And people who got involved during that, they are just at a natural disadvantage because they had a much shallower pool of what they could actually get exposed to and form their thoughts and policies off of, basically. Purchasing Twitter, that was really like the precipitating event to the downfall of all this, and the real rebirth of being able to just fucking say things and look at shit on the internet. I would say I was gonna say I have plenty of problems with Musk. Trust me, he is a character, but fundamentally he is the man who, alongside with Trump, made it possible to just fucking talk about shit on the internet again, and I will forever be thankful to Elon Musk for that, and I will only ever shit talk him if he ever gets truly out of line. Elsewise, thank you, Papa Musk.
Well, and now he's back in line. Now he's like jamming out again, which is good.
Yeah.
So, and now he's spending a lot of money in the midterms, and it's a big deal for Republicans. We got that just to right as a whole, because before that, again, it was bad. You get censored for everything you say. You don't even say anything. They don't like you. They get rid of you. Now it still has issues. Like there's still a lot of problems with AI slop and all that. But now, can you imagine? Like the Nick Shirley stuff out of Minneapolis, that would have never been a story in 2021. That would have got sent to the hell and back. Nobody would have ever heard about it. But now, not only does everybody know there's a giant fraud scheme happening in Minneapolis, you have the White House right now throwing everything they can at going after the fraud, going after the bullshit.
I mean, just straight up, you would not have been able to see any of this happen in the modern day if Musk did not purchase Twitter and made Twitter a place where you could actually, and I mean actually, just fucking talk about things.
It's a ripple effect because now, this right here is what's killing gaming. People get fed up with this shit. Remember back 20 years ago, games used to do something called optimization. I don't know how, it's literally, it's like blood magic. I don't know how the fuck they did it. But they optimized every aspect of the game. So the higher end settings work on even a shittier system. Now, they don't even try. They somehow make it worse. How do you remaster one of the most famous games in history? This is Combat Evolved is one of the most important games in history. And your strategy is pump this shit out? Seriously?
And you know, like the thing that from a marketing and from a business standpoint that pisses me off about this is okay, turning off my Halo fan brain, turning on my I'm gonna make a shit ton of money brain. Y2K is we're kind of at the tail end of it being popular, but it was a really big fucking deal over the past year. They could have leaned so hard into Y2K aesthetics and been true to the actual game, because Halo's Combat Evolved is the most Y2K thing that I can even think of in my childhood.
It came out in 2001, right?
Yeah, it was 2001, but the aesthetics of it was fucking Y2K up the ass. And when I think about it, I'm well, there's a pop culture trend you could have capitalized on right here, and all you had to do was just be even mildly faithful to the color tones and the design and just the look of the game. All you had to do was be we're doing the OG thing, but in ultra graphics. People would have even forgiven this bullshit with the graphics if you at the bare minimum you made it actually feel like Y2K, and they're incapable of doing it. They're incapable.
I'm just looking at this for the low settings. You still need, I can't get over this.
That's still an enthusiast. If you had talked to me 3 years ago, I wouldn't have a rig that could play that.
And that's low. That's bare fucking minimum. You need 16 gigabytes of RAM, a 2060 Super. Jesus.
Like 3 years ago, I was well, not 3 years ago, but almost 3.5 years ago, I was running a 1070. I wouldn't be able to play this game on low.
Like, we're not talking about higher medium. That's a bare minimum. And you know, they're full of shit. I guarantee you it's even worse than this. That's what they like tell you. I guarantee you for it to actually function halfway decently, you need it even better. You need maxed out everything just for it to work properly. Because this is just bare minimum on their rigs that they mysteriously modded shit. That they get it to work just enough. So, American Nerd for 2. Are we in the middle of a video game crash? Or a second one? I hope so. Thomas, our only hope. But we'll get to
for birthright citizenship.
We'll get to that in a little bit. But this is a big deal because this is horseshit. This is these random judges, which of course they all, half of them became citizens 5 minutes ago. I'm not even joking. It's like all these judges that became citizens 5 minutes ago, and they get to say no. These people have to stay here. Really? The point is, now the Supreme Court said no. The president has the sole authority to, you know, end what is supposed to be a temporary program. It's literally in the name. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, what the argument is.
Hey, Rap, are you sick of this shit?
What?
Are you sick of this shit?
Thank you. But it's a big win either way. TPS is essentially, I mean, it's not even dead. All they're just saying is, yeah, the president can allow it to expire. That's all they said. Like, I'm just trying to figure out, what was even the argument here? Does anybody actually know?
It was racism to let it expire. I'm not even.
Oh, right here, yeah. The challengers, yeah. Race discrimination claim. Oh, fuck off. I'm getting so sick of this shit. I have an idea.
Is our strength.
Be gracious, you are allowed here when your country suck. This is just stupid.
Well, that's the thing with the modern Democrat Party and all the judges that they you know, force into office is race is how they do everything. Everything is race to them. And if they have any excuse whatsoever to claim racism, they're going to do so because it worked. That's claiming racism and claiming that you get special status and you get all these privileges has been the Democrat Party strategy for the better part of 100 years. Not even 100 years. I wouldn't say that. I would say starting in the 50s and 60s is when race just became everything. And they've been getting away with it for so long that it's just instinct. It's gut reaction. You want to do something, all you have to do is claim racism. And a lot of the times the courts will side with you.
Yeah, so right here, I'm looking at, this is Kagan's dissent, by the way. This is her argument. Like, you cannot make this shit up. Look at this shit. She talks about how Haitians in the United States have AIDS. Haiti's a shithole.
You're telling me now for the first time.
But Haitians have a God-given right
like,
to
look at
be
this.
here
This
or
is her
something.
actual dissent. And of course, she brought up the Springfield stuff. They're eating the dogs thing. So her entire argument is that it's racist because Trump makes fun of them. Like,
I think it's
so basically
ridiculous.
the Democrats wanted to keep them almost solely because Trump made fun of them 2 years ago.
Are you fucking serious? Like, look at this.
Because Trump made disparaging comments towards Haitians, that means that he was racist for allowing the order to expire. The order set by Biden, by the way. All he did, he didn't even
expire.
He didn't even cut it off early. He didn't move up the date. He didn't do anything like that. All he said was, Joe Biden set this temporary protective status to expire on this date. We are not going to renew it. And the Democrats sued and said that is racist because Trump made a comment about Haitians in Springfield 2 years ago.
But that does not prove it's racist.
Their plan would have been to just, renew it every time, basically forever.
Yeah, right here. Like, this is what she actually said. She quoted somebody, I think this might be Trump. Why is we only take people from shithole countries? Why cannot we have people from Norway and Sweden? The majority briefly replies that those remarks are not overtly racial, but it is hard to know what that means. Haitians are black. Norwegians are and Swedes not so much. What the, how is this a legal argument?
Oh my god. Foreman is black.
Yeah, it's because we have to let in more black people for diversity. Because diversity is our strength.
You notice Trump mentioned some of the nicest countries in Europe. By the way, he did not mention, the shitholes in Europe. I wonder why. Like, this whole argument's dumb. So the Supreme Court sided with the Trump administration, a 6-3. Again, Alito wrote the majority opinion, thank God, that non-citizens who show up to the southern border do not automatically count as asylum seekers under federal law and can be turned away. And just like that, all the bullshit of the southern borders, it's already done. Like, we don't have to worry about it again. It's officially just, you can't, what's the point of crossing the southern border now? Because for those that don't know, these people would claim asylum. They crossed the border 5 seconds ago. Hey, ICE agents, sir, we are asylum seekers. We broke the law.
I do have to push back a little bit because that's not. That's,
I know.
From what I understand, that's not technically what it is.
I know.
But what it is with this one is, in 2016, conveniently in 2016 for some reason, a judge ruled that it is considered you have considered to have been entering the United States just by being at the Mexican border, like not even having crossed it yet. If you interact with Border Patrol, you are considered having entered the United States and are therefore able to claim asylum.
Yeah, yours so is a more technical thing. You're right, but
I mean, yes, but like still, once they do cross, I think they do still get to be able to claim asylum.
Yeah, but
like basically.
Yeah.
The judge said that they basically said that Border Patrol could not try to push people away and try to stop them from entering, because once they reached the border and interacted with Border Patrol, they were considered to have entered the U.S.
That's insane. Yes, we do not ever cross the border. Yeah, we interact with a random Joe where we are asylum seekers now. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's a big win. 6-3, of course. And I thought this was common sense. Like, you're telling me, like, this is how crazy it sounds. You could still be in Mexico. If you just talk to something, like one of the ICE agents or whatever, Border Patrol, you could claim asylum. Like,
yes.
Like, my example is pretty shitty, but the point is, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, how can anyone even, like, defend that? Nothing's wrong with this map whatsoever. Like, what is this? And then, Utah's Oklahoma.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Ninth Circuit's even larger than I thought. It's not only California, Oregon, Washington, Alaska, and Hawaii. It's also Arizona, Nevada, Idaho, and Montana.
Jeez.
That's probably what does need to be split. Like,
that needs to be split.
I get it if it was just, California, Oregon, Washington, Alaska, Hawaii, but when you're adding in like Arizona, Nevada, Utah, all of that,
my recommendation is California, Nevada, Arizona, Hawaii is a circuit, and then Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Alaska is a circuit.
Yeah, just make 5 each and just call it a day. Sense. Or just make smaller circuit courts, because it's bullshit that look at Circuit Court 3. They get 3 states, and one of them's Delaware. Meanwhile, you got California in the 9. This is bullshit. Like, this is utter horseshit. Oh my gosh. Yeah, had a brain fart for a second, but yeah, this is the right one. Yeah, I can't get over some of this. Like, when did they decide this? That's my question. Like, when did they last update this? Probably when Alaska became a state, I'm guessing, or Hawaii.
That's a question for Grok. Someone get on that.
Grok, what do you think? Because, like, it probably made sense in, like, the 50s and 60s, but now it's like, okay, what the fuck?
The 60s and 70s.
Shut up.
6, 7.
No, I mean, this is definitely outdated if it's from the 50s. So, because, like, how can you have, like, the 5th Circuit, which is Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, and then right next to it is the 8th, which is Arkansas to North Dakota? Like, what?
Forget that. Alabama, Georgia, and Florida?
Yeah.
That seems small. Oh, no. The worst one is the 1st Circuit. Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. That is 1 circuit.
Just split up in half.
Okay,
like,
what
the hell?
Which is DC considered part of a circuit?
DC is its own circuit. There is the DC Circuit Court of Appeals.
Yeah, it's its own thing. Okay. Well, again, like, the thing is, they're taking their sweet time on it, so that gives us hope.
That's why I'm so confused about it. Because here's the thing: if they were going to rule 6-3 or 7-2 that birthright citizenship unequivocally applies to the children of illegal aliens, they would have just released it. They would have released it because, like, the oral argument was like either March or April. It's late June.
And they go to recess.
We are nearing the end of the term. Yeah, like, we're nearing recess.
When does recess actually start?
If they were going to rule heavily against the Trump administration and in favor of illegal aliens, we would have already released that shit.
Come on, Alito or Thomas.
If it's a Thomas decision, could you imagine?
Oh my gosh. You know, he's gonna go further than just saying Congress to decide. He's just like, fuck no.
If he writes a decision, he's going to bring up directly how the 14th Amendment was explicitly designed to give former slave citizenship.
Please, Thomas, if you can hear us.
Clarence Thomas, if you can hear me, Clarence Thomas.
Please do it.
End everything. End birth tourism in this country once and for all.
Clarence Thomas delivering that decision would be hilarious when you think about it. Oh my gosh.
Who actually wrote the VRA order? Was that Alito or was that Thomas?
That was Alito.
It was Alito, okay. Yeah, no, hopefully he writes this one then.
You gotta cook.
You know that if it's written by, like, Roberts, we're fucked.
Or it's gonna be a halfway cooked bullshit and it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So, Kavanaugh kind of, if it's Kavanaugh, we'll see. President Gilbert getting up for 20. They'd be like, well, you see here, the founders were thinking about the illegal immigrants for citizenship because they opened their third eyes and looked into the future and said we need an amendment to protect illegals. That's basically the argument some people make. Any bets Palin goes after Trump as he used the R word? Maybe. President Gilbert getting up for 5. I know Trump got judges hitting him in his first term. However, it feels like now a judge blocking him or hitting him every 5 seconds. That's a good point. In his first term, yeah, you had crazy judges doing stuff, but what happened since Trump won? Well, what's happened since then?
I mean, how many judges did Biden put on the courts?
God, it was a lot. Because we didn't block any of them. We just let them through.
Republicans refused to block anything, and he had a lot of openings to fill.
Yeah.
So these people, like, who is like, what, Sparkles Sunshine from Trinidad and Tobago or whatever?
Yeah.
Fucking, who's been a citizen for 6 years, says you're not allowed to have a country. Like, that's not even a meme. That's
literally what they said. Like,
that is the judicial system in this country right now. It is people who became a citizen less than a decade ago with Star Wars names coming over and saying, you are not allowed to have a country. This is my nation.
Biden had 235 appointments. Jesus.
Yeah, how many did Trump have in term 1?
Let's see here. Trump won 234.
Yeah, and how many has he appointed so far?
Well, it's hard to tell because I just blocked everybody. Let me look it up.
I was gonna say, Republicans are blocking it. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, it's just the stupid slip process. I hate that. Like, I get the idea of it, like, Democrats, they don't care. They're gonna nuke that stuff immediately.
As I say, like, that's the thing. Here's the thing with blue slips. When the people are reasonable, when the people that are giving blue slips are reasonable about it, and they only block nominations that they deem radical, out of step with the state, not representative, whatever, fine, we can tolerate that. The problem is they are using the blue slip system to block any Republican nomination in their state.
Yeah. Yeah, Trump's appointed 45, by the way.
It's kind of like the filibuster. The filibuster was meant to spur debate, to spur people to make a compromise, but what it really does nowadays, for both sides, actually no, Democrats, I'm not even going to both sides of shit. Yeah. Democrats abuse it way more than Republicans.
Both sides.
Anyways, how the filibuster works nowadays is it just blocks all legislation that does not have 60 votes.
Yeah, except for
no matter what,
budget stuff.
Except for reconciliation.
But yeah, like, again, the whole point, like, the idea of it's good, but when you have a nutcase party like we do, and then the party we're supposed to be backing, they suck, most of them, you end up with the system we got. It's just, I can't get over this. How can you just block every judge just because you said so? That's insane. That's not the point of that system at all. Again, the point of it is, if you don't believe they represent your state's values, fine, do it once. But they're doing it for every single judge. No matter where or how, they should block it because they said so. For GTA 6, good luck because, well, Xbox jacked up their prices by $100 to $150. Good luck. So, we've been talking more about this. There's gonna be a video game crash soon. It's inevitable. I mean, look at this. $800 for a console. $750, $599, $499. And, well, it's going to be a lot worse. And now Apple's doing the same thing. The reason I'm talking about this is because when you think about it, this does have a ripple effect on the economy. Because it's not just consoles or computers. Guys, like, this stuff is going to impact every part of the economy, with RAM and storage being jacked up in prices. And I'm starting to wonder, like, at what point does it become kind of an emergency for the country? Because you would have to assume that the military uses stuff like RAM. They need stuff like this. Like, not Xboxes or whatever, but like the components in it. So it is kind of a concerning thing where prices just keep skyrocketing for all the electrical stuff, for electronics and shit. That is not good. Not good whatsoever, but man. Real Texan, you want to spend $800 on a shitbox? That's gonna be obsolete in like a year.
No, but if American Nerd, if you want to send $402 super chats, maybe Real American can buy one.
Yeah. The second game crash. Yeah, it's gonna be a crash. I think what's gonna happen is the GTA 6 burst the bubble, because they're already admitting that they don't have enough consoles. And if it's gonna run as shit as I think it's going to on the normal consoles, on the pro versions, it might get bad. Running a crazy in Florida majority Cuban district. Yeah, I know you're talking about. These nutcases are running everywhere. It's like, do you think you're going to appeal to Cuban voters in Miami? Do you really think these voters that escaped from Cuba 50 years ago, they're going to love you? These people are nuts. And you just look at what they're saying. And it's not just generic progressive talking points like universal health care. They're now openly saying, we have to abolish prisons, abolish the police. We got to tax everybody to death. It's like, and we'll get to tax stuff in a second, because that's the thing that Newsom's pushing for. American Nerd for 2. Democrat leadership is sweating nervously right now. Yeah, because they're realizing, some of them at least are realizing, this is a clusterfuck waiting to happen. Like a complete and utter shit show. So, isn't she also dual citizen? I don't think so. Is she? DAC.
I don't believe so.
I won't be surprised. Andrew Jones for 5. How much longer until Democrats finally learn they created a monster they can't control? I think they realized it. It's too late though. That ship has sailed. They're starting to realize it now. And there was an article from CNN where apparently people like Tom Swazi, they may leave the Democrat Party. So we'll get to that later. So, Object Clay's Kidder for 5. Do you think since we're getting the candidates named and them being progressive, do you think the Democrat generic ballot approval will start falling? Yes, I think it will.
Who is a good, moderate seeming senator from a swing state that is of an ethnic profile that is wildly popular with the donors and is going to it is probably more likely than not going to survive his race this year?
Ossoff?
Our good friend, John Ossoff.
That's actually a good pick.
He is from the black person state, after all. He is king of the he is the king of the black people.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he did not get carried by Warnock. We're gonna see this year, by the way.
By the way, she is I don't know, like the only reason she might not pick Ossoff is because she turned down fucking Josh Shapiro because he was Jewish, and Ossoff is Jewish.
And that's a funny thing. Well, it shouldn't be funny, but
no, it's actually really fucking funny.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's like in 2026, there's a non-zero chance people like Ossoff and Shapiro underperform because they're Jewish. Like, unironically. Would you be surprised if that happens?
I don't think those voters exist in any real capacity in Pennsylvania or Georgia.
Trust a plan.
If Josh Shapiro was running in like Oregon, I could see a lot of undervotes in like Portland, but not.
I guess
Philadelphia doesn't, like, those two states aren't known for their progressive whites. They're known for just having black people.
That's true, but it would be kind of funny though. They just underperform.
Well, they're known for other things associated with black people, but we're not going to get into that on stream.
President Trump is saying they will have a 100% tariff on all these countries if they impose a digital service tax, because that's kind of a big thing going on in the EU. They're trying to tax everything just like California. But yeah, President Trump is saying, yeah, well, we're going to tariff everything 100%. Why not? What's the worst that can happen?
Yay, more instability in the global market.
Let's go. We want more instability. Fuck the global economy. This is what I wanted. America noted for 2. Yes, more tariffs to the EU. Fuck those assholes. Yeah. We want to crash the global economy. What's the worst that can happen?
With no survivors.
We want to crash the economy. Oh, shut up. Did you really make that reference? Well, let's just say it was a pretty big night for the more radical wing of the party, because the Zoran Mamdani wing, that's what they're calling it, they won basically everything. And now there is growing angst among many sitting Democrats after Mamdani allies won 3 primaries, including defeating incumbents. So there were 2 incumbents that went down, Goldman and how do you say it? Espelette? Yeah, Espelette. And most immediately, they worry it'll make it tougher to flip the House this year, with Republicans eager to tee up Mamdani's slate's most controversial positions for attack ads and battlegrounds. And that's going to be the issue for Dems. We're not talking about just one random Democrat that's schizophrenic. It was 3 nutcases that took down 2 incumbents and won an open race. And these people are just batshit crazy. Not just on the Israeli issue, whatever, that's one thing. But these are the type of people to say, we have to abolish police. We have to abolish prisons. Everything's abolished except universal health care, some garbage like that. That's what's going on here. They want to make your lives miserable, like John would say. They hate you. They want to make your lives miserable. And they only won in large part because you guessed it, the Israeli issue. What are we doing here? It's not about any other policy for the Democrats except Israel. It doesn't matter if the nutcase wants to abolish prisons, is a literal terrorist sympathizer. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she hates America, openly says it, as long as you're anti-Israel. That's enough for a lot of people in the Democrat Party. The third worldists, they're nutcases, and they won all these primaries in New York.
They can't! They fucking can't! This is the fucking party!
Yeah.
Every young Democrat believes this bullshit. We gotta fuck as a country. You guys realize this. If you do not get fucking involved and purge this shit out, our country is going to unironically turn into DAC, that fucking nutcase, versus James Fishback. That is where we're fucking heading, okay? This far-right bullshit is taking over the right, or like the younger wing of the right, not as much as the left. Both sides are going down this fucking terrible extremist pathway. Left did it first, now the right's doing it to get back at it. The right in America has to be the group that stands for the traditional American. What is that traditional America? It's not this idea about heritage Americans, about white people first. It's not that bullshit. Our values as America are what is written in the Constitution, the rights of people, people's basic freedoms. That is what we should fight for. The individualism, the right of free markets. That is what the right should fight for.
I would even say like the more right-wing faction, I would even say they're not even as crazy.
And for the record, I'm going to oppose this bullshit that has to call them out because calls out me to his people. No, white race. We are not the white race first. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. And I'm done. I'm done with this stupid shit. No, not every minority wants to kill white people. I've met some great minorities who work in politics and do way more work than will ever do in his life in politics. And I'm tired of these like saying all the minorities want to kill and rape white people. No, fuck off. I've had it with these people, so I'm sorry I'm going off, but I'm tired, I'm stressed about a lot of shit, but I'm going off on these people. No, this isn't a racial movement. And yeah, the left is going fucking far left, and the way we beat them is staying in the fucking normal. Be normal. We don't go fucking extreme. We don't go back at shit. We are the normal side. We are not going to be a white race shit. I don't know. Okay, go on.